Once upon a time, there were two sisters. They loved reading stories and spending time together. One day, they were watching a movie. The younger turned to the older and said, "I want to be just like the princess," causing something to snap within the older. That was me, and the younger sister was my own. Her name is Beibei. We were watching the 1937 Snow White movie, and this experience was the straw in the camel's back that made me look into why these Disney princesses are so tempting for young girls to wish to be like. Now, my sister is a big lover of dressing up all pretty and princess-like, much like many other young girls. When I asked her why she wanted to be like Snow White, she said, "Because she's pretty and she wears those beautiful dresses, and her and the prince had a happily ever after." Her response was filled with sheer adoration for this character, but I saw that as a problem. Snow White, although an iconic character from the first Disney animated movie ever, she and many other Disney princesses are undesirable role models for us to wish our young girls to grow up to strive to be like. Today, I wanted to address how these seemingly innocent stories can have profoundly negative impacts on young girls' development and identity. It is time that we ask, is this illusion of happily ever after worth it when it comes at the cost of a young girl's potential? Now, returning to the story we all know by heart, Snow White. The problem with her and many other Disney princesses is that she perfectly fits the model of a damsel in distress. In 2015, LEGO conducted a study about how boys and girls view their media differently. Whilst boys tended to see themselves as a spectator or director of some sort, girls viewed them in the first person. They projected themselves onto the characters they were seeing on the screen. This has worrying implications, as they see those characters as someone they should strive to be like, when that isn't the case. These Disney princesses are passive. They wait for Prince Charming to come and rescue them into happily ever after. Their characterization is around being beautiful or being abused by someone in power without doing anything about it. These things tell our young girls to be passive, that her worth is tied to her looks, and not to do anything to make a change in her life. And with this, it's natural to wonder, why? When questioned about how he created the Disney Princess Group, Andy Mooney had this to say. "Standing in line of the arena of a Disney on Ice show, I was surrounded by little girls dressed head to toe in princess costumes. The light bulb went off. Clearly, there was a demand here. So the next morning, I said to my team, okay, let's get as much product out there as possible to allow these young girls to do what they're doing anyway, projecting themselves onto these characters." Translation. What he basically meant was, let's go and monetize the heck out of the hopes and dreams of these young, impressionable girls. This tells us the answer, ladies and gentlemen, is money. These stories and movies were made to serve as advertisements for the merchandise that they were selling, to the point where even toy manufacturers would sit in and have a say on the movie's creative direction. Putting this into perspective, the Disney Princess Group has made over $1.5 billion annually, according to the Walt Disney Company, which is far more than the mere $185 million generated by the Snow White movie. All the creators are mainly after is money, with little consideration for how it affects the young girls watching at home. But let me make this clear. There is nothing wrong wanting to be a princess. There are many more recent Disney princesses, such as Moana or Mulan, who have set out on dangerous journeys to save those that they care about. These are the brave and independent characters that should be put on the pedestal, the ones we should wish our young girls to draw from for their own princess character. They were made in an age of female empowerment, and they are proof there's change in the entertainment industry. In their stories, to be a great princess is not to wear big pretty gowns or have a royal bloodline, but to have the determination to walk her own path. This change isn't isolated to modern princesses either. Disney has been making a lot of live action remakes, and none are as talked about now as Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. In an interview, actress Rachel Zegler stated that Snow White's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about happily ever after. She's going to be dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be. Although this is very in line with female empowerment, it creates the rise for a new problem. This statement puts romantic relationships in a negative light, as if there's something wrong with wanting true love. It is essentially a new model for our young girls to fit in, instead of giving them the ability to choose. So now, it is our turn as parents, guardians, teachers, and siblings to do our part. Nowadays, I often check up on what my sister watches. We have nice little chats about her takes and her ideas. I want her to learn values of being kind, being empathetic, and being true to herself. I want these stories to be able to empower her and not limit her. And this is what I want you to bring home with you today. We need to frame these stories in a way that will give us the ability to allow our young girls to choose to walk her own path. Let's let them be aware of who the character of Snow White really is. Let's allow them to choose who they want to become. Let's give them the power and ambition to write their own happily ever after. Thank you.